So, fitting these manifolds was a complete failure. It seems that Speedmaster drilled these mounting holes too tight. They're actually size for size for the bolts. You have no actual side movement at all. So what I had to do was I had to take them over to the drill press. I'll show you. Go for a little walk and show you. Over the drill press here. What I've had to do is I ran a drill bit down the hole. I'll just mock this back up so you can see it. Mock the drill bit down the hole to get the right angle of the drill press. Then, of course, it's the finished size. Drill straight down the hole on the correct angle. Correct all the holes. Then hopefully I can take it back over there and make it fit. I have one more hole. You can see the difference between that hole there and that hole there. The difference is 2 millimeters. That 2 millimeters difference will give me probably about 2 to 4 mil play between the two manifolds of where the throttle bodies fit together. Because the current position the throttle bodies are at, they hit each other and you can't actually clock them to get the bolts in. So again, another poor quality thing from Speedmaster. I really shouldn't have to do this, but the only way I could do it correctly was to, like I said, mount the manifold on here, run a smaller drill, which was this drill here, which is the right size for that hole there. Run it down the hole with the drill press, adjust the angle of the table to correct it, and then proceed to drill them with the right size hole. So what I got to do is now I'll take this one off here, I'll unclamp it, and I'll take it over before I drill that last hole. I'll take it over and I'll try and fit it on there and see if it works. I'll just pause this for a sec. I'll mount the camera and I'll get back to it and see if it actually helps me. Okay, let's try that again, eh? So what I've got to do is mount both of these crossed over from each other. They'll fit in only one way. I can't remember which way it was. There we go. They fit together this way. No, they don't. They fit together this way. Because of the port offset, number one cylinder being there. We'll get this first bolt started here. The second bolt started down here. Now I've got a bit of movement in that where I had no movement before. We'll get this bolt started. I still may not have enough. I may have to drill out the next size again, but so what I'm hoping for is if you see how, I don't know if you can see in the video there, but there's a gap this side here, and the throttle body mount plate is touching this side. So if I push that one that way and the other one the other way enough, maybe, just maybe I can mount the throttle bodies on there. So I'll try and see if that can work. I'll grab the throttle bodies for this side. They only fit on one way. There's 4 throttle bodies clocked. You have a look how they fit. They fit between these brackets here. They've got like a little lever they fit in and they tighten up on. This end's the end for the throttle position sensor, and this side is the side where the linkage goes for the throttles. I'll grab a couple of these screws. I'll just grab 8 of them for now. And I'll see if I'm able to mount them this time. I wasn't last time, it didn't work. I'll show you if I come across the same problem. That may just mount this time, I don't know. Put a bolt in that hole. Nip it up with the Allen key. This is what you get, guys, when you you look at a product. It looks okay in theory, like on their pictures. Still won't work. My next alternative is to drill the holes in the throttle bodies a bit bigger so they shift across, but I really want to get the manifold across that way, and this one across this way. Jeez, that's terrible. That is so far out. I can't even swing the throttle body down enough to get a bolt in the hole. Let's try anyway, but it really is messy enough. Not a chance. I can see it half a bolt hole out. I'm going to have to take it back off again, re-drill it. Re-drill the whole manifold. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to re-drill the bottom of these throttle bodies, maybe a millimetre bigger, just so they clock enough around to mount. I can't get that down far enough. That noise you can hear is hitting the side of the manifold. I mean, if I forced it, or if I had a spacer in there, maybe it would work, but yeah, I don't know. It's really annoying. That one that way. That one that way. It just may go. Let me just try it. It's not going because of anything they've done. It's only possibly going to fit because of the drilling I've done. No, I can't even get started. Here's the tip. Buy the expensive brand. Don't buy the cheap ones. Get what you pay for. Okay, so I managed to get the throttle bodies all on. They're all on. Not every bolt's in, just in position. This one all rotates fine except the linkage, like this one here, turns all the throttle bodies nice and easy, but this roller linkage on the back here, which is the actual where the throttle cable connects to, is it's fouling on the side of the manifold, believe it or not. So I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Like it's hitting that much that I can't even put the manifold all the way down. It's not touching at the bottom. It's probably, I don't know, 2 mil off landing flat there. I've resorted to just bolting on a few bits just to see how it's going to look when I'm finished. But I know I've got a lot of work to do to get this done. I just pop the injectors in loosely, put the fuel rails on just loose. I'm just mounting these stacks loose at the moment just to see how she's going to look. And once everything's together, I can get a good understanding of what I've got to do. Like this one at the moment, I can feel this bolt is tight. Feels like it's not threaded all the way in the throttle body. I'll tell you in a second once I start tightening it up a bit more. Oh, jeez. And of course you can't get a Allen key ball end under there to tighten it, so you got to just slip it in from the side there. Oh, that's alright. It's starting to move. No, it's not. Anyway. The quality's that poor, even the stacks, even the velocity stacks don't screw on properly. The throttle bodies themselves look pretty good. The velocity stacks look pretty good. The linkages between each throttle body looks fairly average. Has a metal plate and a bent spring just to hold the two pieces together. Doesn't look great. Had a look at a few other brands RHD, I think is the brand. Theirs don't look that much better quality than this, but it looks like their parts all fit because the guys running the show are the guys that fit them to the car. So, and the guy running this show is the poor guy that's got to fit it to the engine here, fit it to this engine here, and things just don't fit. Spent a lot of time trying to make parts fit so far. Probably been at this a few hours now, maybe 3 or 4 hours, and I'm still not confident that I can get this thing to start. I got no O-rings in there. I'm probably going to buy some spacer plates to go between the manifold and the head, and I'm probably going to get them milled on a slight angle to raise the angle up slightly, which will bring these throttle bodies away from the runner. More money. Money that Speedmaster doesn't tell you you've got to spend to make their product fit. Well, you've got to admit, with the bits on here like this, it looks pretty cool, but there's no use of looking cool if it doesn't bloody work. It's going in the hot rod. It doesn't need to be a racing car. It just needs to be a good, solid running engine, which I know it is. I'll cam it. I'll probably put a new set of rings in it, new bearings, make it look a bit pretty on the outside. This was part of that process. It doesn't need to be a super fast car. It just needs to look really cool with these stacks on it and the injection on it. You got to admit it does look pretty cool like that, but making cool work is a totally different story. So I'll keep bolting the stacks on. You can have a look at what it looks like when it's finished. And we got 4 more of these. This is not an easy task by any means, but also I would say it doesn't matter how difficult it is to me. I just need to make it run. I just need to make it work, and with poor quality product, no instructions, bolts missing, you can do the math. I can kind of work out from here that it's not going to be easy to finish off the job, but I'll give it a red hot crack. I'll tell you all the way along the way what problems I encounter, like everyone so far. If possible, I'll show you some of the fixes. Like I didn't show you me cleaning the manifold belly cover. You didn't really need to see that, just wiping grease and grime off. You know, I didn't show the whole drilling process over there either. I just showed you how it was done. I didn't show you every hole I drilled. But you understand what the process was, and you can understand that if you bought it and you thought it was going to bolt straight on, not by a long shot. Probably setting up the drill to drill those those cross ram manifolds was probably the hardest part. It took a fair while, and it's not exactly easy to set up on the drill and that angle. Like I said, I just put the wrong one in first. That one doesn't go in there. Yes, sometimes I put this one in wrong first. Yeah, it's just pretty annoying actually. I just get over it for the night. It's 11:30 now. What time did I start this? Probably 7:30. I started having a crack at this. Yeah, I reckon I'll bolt these trumpets on. I'll measure up the size of the bolts I've got to buy for the manifold. I'll go inside, I'll order the adapters for the spaces for the manifold to cylinder head, and when they turn up I'll measure what I need to do and get them milled, make it fit like I have everything else so far. Send a not so friendly email off to Speedmaster to explain my concerns with the product, which is pretty much a problem with every single component so far, which is not great. Yeah, like pictures look good when you see them for sale. My tip: talk to someone that's done it before. I haven't done this before. This is the first. Once I actually make all the mechanisms work and I can actually get them fitted correctly, I'll still got to get these things tuned on here. I've purchased the correct tool. It's like a air velocity meter. They use them on for tuning Weber carburetors. You know, you stick on the first one and you measure all the way along. You stick the other side, you measure along, and you measure how much air velocity is going through each stack, and you adjust them to suit. Got to make sure the linkages are pretty much calibrated and all moving exactly the same, and make sure all the butterflies and throttle bodies are all in exactly the same position. Otherwise it'll never run. This is the last velocity stack, or trumpet, whatever you want to call it, to bolt on. And I'll pick up the camera and give you a bit of a closer look at it. Obviously you're going to have to rerun all the wires for the fuel injectors because they're now on the top up here. They're not where they used to be down in the side of the manifold here. They're in the runner now, right up here. These are old injectors. I'm going to buy a new set. I might even buy a set of 36-pound ones or LS1 injectors. Buy the little adapters to make them fit, but in looking at the height issue I've got here, I'll be lucky to fit them in there. The fuel rail will foul. Fuel rail will foul on the injector bodies if I put a different one on there. I'll grab the camera now, and I'll show you exactly how it looks. It's not finished, like I said, it's just roughed in. Let me get this out of here. Out of this stand here. There you go. You can see how it looks. It looks pretty freaking cool, but looking good and actually running on the car are two different things. So I'll show you this here. So they give you some brackets in the packet that connect to this sort of turntable part on the side here. As you can see, as you roll that around, it's straight through the throttle bodies, a straight line straight to the port. It's going to look pretty cool. It's going to sound pretty cool. But what you can see here is if I rotate this bracket back, you can see that butterfly is hard up in there already and it's not turning anything. But if you look at this one, you can see them both together. See this one moving? This one moving? It means I've got to adjust the bracket. The adjuster is down here. You loosen off this brass nut, you back off the grub screw in the middle there, and you can make that position of that butterfly move back to where it's supposed to be. That one's hard up, that one's got a tiny bit of movement in it, but yeah, you've got to calibrate all these arms on it just to make sure it's going to work. Gonna relocate the coils when it goes into that hot rod. Those coils will be probably inside the car under the dash. You won't see them. Gonna have a remote power steering pump, electric water pump. Keep the alternator down low, it's out of the way. There'll be a remote air conditioning pump. That'll be electric pump in the boot most likely. Nice set of shorty headers, nice set of rocket covers on there. Probably going to polish the outside of the heads. I'll put the nice polished cover under here. It should look the part, but the hard work now is getting this thing to run. I also noticed that the cable that used to reach the front of the engine is probably going to struggle to reach, maybe not. It's going to struggle to reach where I need it to. It might be okay here, but it's very visible. I might have to actually run it across and around the back and hide it so it gets this one here, and actually it's got to pull the other way. It's got to pull this way, so it has to run this direction to pull, or it can go underneath and pull the bracket back around, so it can work. When I get to the stage where I'm connecting all the brackets and making it work, that's a long way off, I think. I need to wait for these spacers to turn up, machine the spacers. You can see the gap that's in between the manifolds, because this is fouling on here. I'm going to contact Speedmaster and ask him for the instructions. Maybe I've put this on the wrong side. Maybe this is supposed to go at the front over here, which it may do. If that's the case, my bad. But I couldn't imagine, I was hoping that the throttles weren't at the front here. I didn't want to see all the linkages. I was trying to hide it. And then all you have on the front here would be your throttle position sensor, which bolts onto either this one here or this one here. I'm guessing that one's tucked down the back. You're not going to get to that, but this one here will most likely be the one I connect it to. Probably plug off the fuel rails here, or see if I can get a couple of -6 fittings to bring it straight around and nice and neat at the front. And then I'll have fuel in here and fuel return out the back to the tank. See how we go. Either that, or I'll cap one side of it, let the fuel go through, or cap both sides of it and bring 2 hoses down off a Y-piece so you don't see anything at the front, which will probably keep it neater. See what we can do. Anyway, that's all I'm doing tonight. I'm absolutely bloody knackered. That's where I'm up to with this. Just looks good, and nothing else at the moment. Righto, catch us on the next video.